Welcome back to our Life is Strange analysis. We're going to look at every second of the last chapter of Life is Strange, and this is where the chapter takes a massive, massive leap upwards. This is a really, really good sequence. It feels strong, and it feels real and tangible. When you're building something that is over the top, which is too big to really comprehend, it's difficult, especially if you're kind of springing it on someone. So to do that, you have to introduce a lot of mundane elements. For example, people who are scared.
That photo you took last night in the parking lot.
I'm going to point out some of the mundane elements that let us buy into the fact that this storm is real and nasty and huge. This is one of them. The fact that Warren is scared is a big part of our reality right now. We are going to go to Warren because we need his help. And the fact that he's scared and he's at the two whales is very mundane. And it lets us buy the fact that the storm is what's scaring him and what has driven him into the diner.
But it's not over yet, Warren. So hold on.
This is also great. Little piece of mundanity here. What a wonderful touch. That was great. Also, the difference between the sound outside and the sound inside is very mundane and more powerful than you might think. These little touches add up really fast. So even though we were in a literal bomb shelter and could not hear the storm at all, we now buy that the storm is here and it's real and it's powerful because we are seeing it and we're getting grounded. Mundane versus exceptional, mundane versus exceptional. This radio DJ is a little over the top, but it's the same sort of idea.
And I'm the one trapped in this fucking radio station.
Reminds me of all of those old zombie movies where you listen to the radio. It's like, the zombies are at the door, and this is your zombie soul radio DJ. I am really disappointed by this plot element. This message was on our phone before we went into the party. And that's a massive plot hole that did not have to be introduced. Emotionally speaking, there is power in Nathan apologizing to us and kind of clearing things up a little bit. But in terms of the plot, it's a massive plot hole.
Mr. Jefferson, he's coming for me now. All this shit will be over soon. Watch out, Max. He wants to hurt you next.
The villain in this piece should be Max. The villain in this piece should be the Hurricane. Serial killers are irrelevant. They're just distractions. The musical choice here is not as good as it could be, in my opinion. I don't think they needed to bring in a musical piece. I think they should have stuck with the sounds of the storm. I think they should have made it really, really overwhelming and like make it feel super, super real. That said, this scene is amazing. How much work did these guys put into this sequence? We're going to have a lot of implementation details here, starting with all of these scared people running away. If you want the player to buy that something is dangerous, just show them people running away. Show them scared people. Let them rescue people. Let them help people who are suffering from whatever the horrible thing is. That will make it seem real. It's not just a matter of showing a rain effect. There are a few bugs in this scene, so I'm going to work my way through it to avoid them. So if you see I missed anything, that might be why. More scared people running away. Now, one of the problems with this game is that they are pretty limited with their model. The hair can't whip very far, the faces can't distort very hard. And that's a little bit of a shame, but if you can get away with more wind and more rain and more horror, it would be better to do so, when possible.
Thanks, kid.
Are you okay?
Once I get the hell out of here. I've been hauling loads for way too long in this shithole town.
You better go now.
Notice the rain texture on these people is really, really simple. I don't actually think he has one, but the rain texture on us is really, really simple, but also really, really great. This is an easy way to do rain textures, and I recommend that you do it exactly like this. That light doesn't apparently illuminate us. I'm trying to get us somewhere bright so that we can see it more clearly here. Here we are. You can see how the rain texture is just a simple, I don't know how many frames that is, not too many frame animation where it speckles us with a bright reflective patch. Those sorts of textures are very easy to make, especially if your model is careful to keep a uniform UV density. So I do recommend that you do that if possible. Those effects are cheap and they're very immersive. The layout of this, it's a big rectangle with 2 islands. It's a very simple layout, but it works very well because islands allow you to make an area more dense without making it more difficult to navigate. So islands are definitely your secret. Stop, 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 stop. Oh, fuck you.
See that tornado? Get the hell out of here! Max, there's no way I can pass up these images. Just look at it. You can't take a picture when you're dead. Now move your ass. Okay, you insist.
Unfortunately, Evan's voice is the same as a certain skater boy, and it's really, really obvious when he says the same things that the skater boy says.
Everyday hero. Come with me. I have to help somebody else first.
Yeah, I'm here. I'll save you. God damn it. Oh, well, apparently the pole fell down while we weren't looking, so we can walk over it. Now let's go help Alyssa. She's being bullied by a building. I don't know why we're bothering to help these people. This is a non-viable timeline and we know it. It is nice to have a, you know, the player can express themselves by choosing to help these people or not, but we already know this is a non-viable timeline. The only reason we're helping these people is out of long habit. We're going to be rewinding time, and we know we're going to be rewinding time, so why the hell are we bothering? Just so we can see their relieved faces, even though we know it will never have happened in the past? Well, a big part of this game is the question of whether the things you remember happening matter if they never happened. Which is an odd thing for games to be about.
Be careful out there!
So here's the second island. There's this island made by the trucker's truck, and then this island made by some random rubble. So the game is basically a figure 8 here. This particular sub-level is a figure 8. And that's a pretty powerful way to make an easy to navigate but interesting level.
But nobody gets a reward.
We can't do anything with these guys.
Dad! You're nuts!
So here's another very basic trick that's super good. Go from a wide open space to a tight enclosed space. And repeat. Wide to tight, wide to tight, wide to tight. It never gets old, so just do it all the time.
How can I get
Basic
out
level
here?
design trick. So I am ashamed to say that this puzzle took me quite a while. So we obviously need to turn the sprinkler on, and eventually she'll just tell us to use the fuse box. But there's a dude over there, and when we use the fuse box, he dies.
Dead.
And I am ashamed to say that I could not remember how to fix this. I rewound, I looked for something to throw at him or whatever. I had completely forgotten how Max's powers worked because we haven't been using them right for the past chapter.
This can't be the end.
Come on. You have to get out of here right now.
The fact that when Max rewinds, she stays where she is
I need air.
means that we could have probably escaped from Jefferson by rewinding time at opportune moments.
You should get out of here.
The whole town is dying.
Okay. I better hurry to the diner over there. I need Warren's photo.
I still like the idea of using Nathan's photo better. Come on. So this is another wide open space, but there's no island in this one. And the reason there's no island is because they want to make sure that you can see the two whales wherever you go. No matter where you look, the two whales will be looming large in your vision. And the reason for that is pretty simple. They don't want you to miss the pyrotechnics. So don't be afraid of spaces that are simply wide open, you know, nothing blocking the view at all, because you can always use that long view for a good reason. Use a landmark or a big event. Anyway, we have to put this fire sand onto the fire.
Yes.
I mean, it's literally called fire sand. We're not taking any photos or anything, but there are some photograph targets like the whale and the car. We're gonna kind of skip those because this isn't about the photos. As a homeless lady, we saved her life. Good to know. From an open space to an enclosed space, again.
Evacuation. Once again, this is not a test. This is not a test. An E6.
And from an enclosed space to an open space. Hey!
The emergency broadcast system is now in effect.
Oh, Max. Oh, Jesus, I am so
Poor
glad to
Warren.
see you, sweetie. Are you okay?
Yes. What about you guys?
The two whales is barely standing now. I don't know if it's gonna make it through this tornado. Oh, poor Officer Barry and all those people out
know.
there. Okay, get your ass inside. I have to get back to this gentleman on the ground. Lauren has been gathering all the first aid.
It's not much, Joyce, but it's all we have.
You okay, Warren?
How the hell did I ignore all those warnings, Max?
I think that Warren is a little bit insufferable in this sequence here. He starts to be the guy who preaches and talks about, you know, things that you can't avoid and fate and all that, and it comes out of nowhere and it feels really forced.
I need that photo from Warren to help Chloe.
We could say goodbye to Joyce and Frank, but we're not going to. It is a chance to say goodbye to these characters. They are characters that we haven't said goodbye to yet. They weren't at the party, obviously. But we're going to skip it just because it takes quite a while. They do have a lot of story to tell, and it's very similar to the way we talked to David, and he had a lot of story to tell. It's very useful and powerful, and we're just going to skip it. We're going to have to talk to Warren for a really, really long time. So long that Max gets tired and just stops moving her lips. And that's an important plot point in the future, I think.
And I know you can take care of yourself. I wish I would have. So I'm just going to tell you.
I can drink
without
water
any
and you can
explanation.
talk at the same time.
Trust me, okay?
I always do. You should probably tell me quick.
I had a vision in Jefferson's class of a tornado destroying Arcadia Bay. I went to the bathroom and saw my best friend Chloe get shot by Nathan Prescott. You with me so far?
Where else
That's
could I
very
be?
fast, yes.
Go
That's the
on.
short version for sure.
And I found out that I could rewind time. And long story short, Mark Jefferson is insane and dangerous.
Very short.
Is that all?
So we have a couple of options here. We can either talk about Chloe or we can talk about the storm. If we talk about the storm, he goes on and on about how it's all connected, even though that doesn't make any sense. And I want to complain about that, so we're going to talk about the storm.
I think that the storm started. Everything started. when found out could rewind time. There's no way this is just a coincidence, right?
Max.
What a weird bug to
Not
overlook.
storm, but the
It makes it hard to
eclipse.
take this conversation seriously, even if I was willing to take Warren seriously on this.
Because of me? How?
I'm not a real scientist, even though I play one at school, but this seems like pure cause and effect. Maybe chaos theory.
Beep. No. No, that's not what those things mean. The butterfly effect and chaos theory are not about tornadoes happening if you change the past. Now, the summary of the butterfly effect is a butterfly flaps its wings, and then 4 days later, a hurricane makes landfall. That's kind of the humorous Jurassic Park version of the theory, and it is radically misinterpreting the underlying concepts. The idea of the butterfly effect and in chaos theory in general is that a small change can have a very large outcome for logical reasons, because things connect in a diverse way. For example, if we saved someone's life, it could turn out that their grandchild invents warp drive, so saving their life could result in a massive fleet of human colonies all across the universe, or maybe their grandchild turns out to be Hitler. So you can't tell what the outcome is going to be, but you can tell that it's not just going to randomly summon shit. If I were to save someone's life, a tornado wouldn't just randomly appear. The only way that a tornado would happen is if for some reason they somehow caused the tornado. There is no cause and effect chain that can connect me changing what I say to someone and a hurricane. There's no cause and effect chain from stopping Chloe from getting shot and a hurricane. This is not chaos theory. This is not the butterfly effect. That said, it doesn't necessarily make it bad science fiction. The idea that changing the past puts a strain on reality is perfectly fine. I can buy that. I don't know why they didn't just go with that. Maybe because the chaos theory and butterfly effect are well-known terms.
What happened with Jefferson? Her altered time? Maybe you caused a chain reaction.
Except we've already been shown that there was no difference in the amount of devastation in the universes where we didn't adjust time very much, and did. Okay, great. Let's get out of here. I'm tired of talking to Warren. Oh.
Hey, be careful out there.
Watch out for Joyce. And Frank.
I got this, Max. Go on.
I'm going to make the right choices from now on. I swear.
That's why you're Super Max.
Now, we already have Chloe backing us up in times of trouble. I don't think we need Warren as well. It feels a little bit like overkill that he's kind of puppy dog hanging onto us at this point. But there was no Chloe to give us any reassurance at the time, so I guess he's kind of like a poor man's Chloe.
The end of the world, ladies.
And this is where we end it. In the next episode, we'll pick it up from here.